currently 26 weeks pregnant and loving this first journey into motherhood. As a yoga teacher, prior to becoming pregnant, I knew I wanted to learn how to safely practice as well as guide other women on this journey. So I recently completed a prenatal yoga training, and I look forward to sharing some of the insights I learned during that training. And to help you to feel empowered, not only in this yoga class, but if you were to want to take a yoga class at home, in person, or continue a personal practice in your own home space. So before we dive into the class, I just wanted to share a few general rules of thumb with you that you can apply across the board so that you feel confident and empowered to take your yoga practice wherever you'd like to during this journey. So for me, and just taking a look at the trimesters, first trimester was filled with nausea, sickness, and just a lot of feelings around the fact that I was pregnant, but couldn't quite share that with the world yet. I was keeping it between my partner and I, and it just brought up a lot of things. So if you're in that first trimester, first of all, if you're not feeling well, obviously there might be days where you just need to take off. For me, I know I slept a lot. I was very tired. So any movement was very minimal and simple. And I did take extra time to nap, to relax. And when I wasn't feeling sick, just to rest. So if there are days like that, just take the day off. Sometimes rest is the most productive thing that you can do. But if you are feeling well, the nice thing is you haven't experienced a whole lot of physical changes in terms of growth, so you can still do a pretty regular yoga practice. You want to avoid any really deep twisting in that lower abdominal region, so any twisting would be from the chest up. But besides that, just listening to your body, maybe going with a more slow yoga practice so that you aren't triggering that nausea, and taking it just one breath at a time, one day at a time. For second trimester, we're starting to get the bump growing. For me, 26 weeks here, I definitely have a baby bump that has made its debut. So anything lying on the belly is not going to feel good for you or the baby. So avoiding poses like cobra or bow pose or locust. If you're going to try some spine strengthening, one of my favorites is a puppy pose, so your hips stay over the knees. We'll definitely do that today. And you're creating that space with the arms out, even blocks. So please do have blocks nearby for your practice. I'm sitting on one right now to create some extra flow of blood to the legs, and then have a block nearby so that we can use that to get a little extra height here throughout the class. And then of course, with this baby bump in the way, doing things like anything that is normally compressing, so a fold, even downward dog, you're gonna need to give yourself a little more space. So feel free in any sort of folds or even standing positions to step your feet really wide, to have a nice bend in your knees, and to not necessarily fold as deeply as you might otherwise. And then you don't want to twist too deeply, so that carries into the second and third trimester. If you're going into a twist, something like a Matsyendrasana or a prayer twist is going to be too deep. So open twisting, keeping the arms open. If someone is taking you into a twist really deeply in one direction, open twisting in the other direction. And then just listening to your body. If you're going toward a twist, again, focus rib cage, shoulders upward, really bringing that focus for the twist there, and only going as far as you're comfortable. So stopping at that point where you feel the compression and it's just too much. And then lastly, we don't want to be lying on the back for too long here, starting second trimester on. So a lot of what is true in the second trimester will carry through all the way there to the third. So if you're lying on your back, try to limit that. And for something like Shavasana we do in every class, rather than lying on your back, try lying on your side, on the left side. So ideally, and this carries through to your sleeping positions, your ideal side to lie on, which is driving me crazy at night. I do prefer lying on my right side, but it is said that the left side is the preferred side to lie on. So if you can lie on your left side, my pregnancy pillow is saving my life. So if you have one of those at home, you could bring it between your knees to give your knees a little more space, which will help with any hip pain, and even hug that pillow behind you so that you get a little bit of support on the back as well. So those are kind of just some general rules of thumbs that whether you're practicing here today, you can pay attention to, or doing your own practice at home or taking a class in person. Feel free to activate and engage with those general rules of thumb. And a couple other things to look for in classes: we don't want to get too hot. So a Bikram or any heated yoga that is over 95 degrees, I would be cautious of, because you're going to heat beyond that as well, especially if it's a crowded room. So trying to avoid any extreme heat will be beneficial for you. If it's a warm yoga class, I tend to teach an 83-degree room up to a 90-degree room. That should be okay. So as long as you're feeling comfortable, again, if you're really nauseous, that might not feel good. Any warmth might not feel good at that point. So listen to your body, but it should be safe going from 83 to about 90 degrees. Just be cautious for anything over that. And then when you're breathing, not holding the breath too much. So if you're being guided through a breathwork practice that is very heating or that encourages you to hold the breath, try to avoid that. We want to keep the breath flowing and to not constrict. Thank you so much. I'm wishing you all of the best on this magical and incredible journey that we are on. And I hope to see you on your mat again soon. Until next time, namaste.